Hey, this is Jeff, and welcome back to the no-kill run of the pit. FYI, I fixed the problem with Everett's skin texture. Turns out I still had Breeze-compatible outfits lurking in various temporary resource folders, probably left over from the Quo Vadis playthrough. I'm pretty fastidious about making sure my distribution packages are clean, but I'm not always that good at cleaning up my own development environment. That's also why the eagle-eyed among you may have noticed that male NPCs don't have t-shirts if you take their armor, and why some male NPCs have tattoos. The easiest way to fix it was just to reinstall the Breeze-compatible Pit Mutant skin texture, so that's what I did. Anyway, last time we turned in enough ingots to advance the quest, and our current objective is to return to Midea. So let's go talk to her.
Good. Just in time. Ashur has ordered everyone into the square. Rumor has it that he's going to open up the arena. That's perfect for us.
Arena? If this is going where I think it's going, we may have a problem. Explain this plan to me.
It's simple, really. From time to time, Ashur opens up the arena. Any slave who wants to can fight against the gladiators. If you win, you get your freedom. More importantly, you get an audience with Ashur. It's the only way a slave will ever get to talk to him directly. You fight, you win, and when you talk to Ashur, you take the cure.
Ordinarily, you only get the first two options, either one of which ends the conversation, but Pam adds a third. Picking one of the vanilla options doesn't lock you out of the alternate no-kill quest resolution, but it does make it easier. If that's your plan, we have a problem. I'm a pacifist.
Whatever. We'll work it out somehow. We haven't been making these weapons for nothing, you know. Now let's get out there and listen to Ashur's speech. There'll be hell to pay if the guards catch us in here.
When we step outside, we'll see another mod feature, but this one falls squarely into the and more category. Excuse me while I stash the loot we got from Everett and in the steel yard. Anyway, Ashur gives a speech in the courtyard, which is broadcast all over downtown. In the vanilla game, there's a bug that causes the lines he speaks and the lines that come out of the loudspeakers to play in a different order. I'll show you a bit of the unmodded speech for context when I talk about what caused the bug and how I fixed it, which, as usual, will be at the end of the video. But right now, let's go hear what it was always supposed to sound like, and now finally does.
Citizens of the pit, workers of downtown, traders of uptown, and all fierce souls who do what must be done. I bring you good news. We stand at the dawn of a new golden age, where others merely survive. We thrive! Our industry is the envy of the Commonwealth. Our safety is the envy of the capital wastes. Our might is the envy of Ronto. And while I have led your efforts, it has been by your own strength that you have earned all the envy of the world. They envy the steel shaped by the workers in our mills, and they envy the strength of our traders and raiders who wield the steel for the pit. And most of all, they envy our victories in the struggle for freedom. Because yes, freedom is what we all work towards. Freedom from fear. Freedom from disease. Freedom to live as once we did before we were shackled by atomic fire. And so, to celebrate this struggle, I ask my loyal workers, who among you is prepared to fight for your freedom? Who among you will risk your life in the crucible to create a new life of freedom in Uptown? Who will take this rare chance to thrive?
Right here! We have one! This woman here will fight in the hole! Come on, Ashur! Will you send someone to the hole?
Very well,
who
Midea.
actually
If this
stands a
is the
chance?
will of the workers, then this woman shall be their champion! Madam, you carry not only the dream that workers can become free, but that we may all someday become truly free from the threats of our world. Prepare yourself, madam. And when you are ready to be forged anew, report to Phaedra in the steel mill. The rest of you are dismissed.
You head down to the hole. Talk to Phaedra. She's... Good luck in your fight. We're all counting on you.
What the hell? I told you I'm a pacifist.
Whoop-de-fucking-do. Wake up, you simple-headed sap. When you're meeting with Ashur, you'll be close enough to grab the cure. Get it and bring it to me.
You? Fighting the hole? Ah, I can't wait for this.
Yeah, me neither. Well, if this was her plan all along, somebody didn't get the memo about what kind of help to recruit. But nobody actually said it's combat to the death. Better talk to Phaedra and find out what the rules are. You know, when I was working on the fix, I was thinking it was kind of a cosmetic thing, but now I think it's more important than that. The speech is clearly supposed to be a key plot point, but even if you're one of those rare people who can listen to two conversations at once and understand them both, and I'm not, the lines are out of order, so it'd still probably just come across as a disjointed mess. But finally hearing the whole speech end to end the way it was intended, it's major foreshadowing that Ashur isn't the typical psychopathic raider boss that Werner made him out to be. Wish I'd have fixed that 10 years ago. There's the arena. You can see why they call it the hole. And this gate that was previously locked is now open. Hello, Spook.
So you're the dumbass scab that signed up to fight in the hole, huh? Well, head on down. Phaedra's waiting for you.
For the record, I didn't sign up. Somebody threw me under a bus.
And what are you doing down here, slave? Don't tell me your pale ass is gonna throw down.
We'll see. What goes on down here?
What, one of the boys hit you upside the head a little too hard? This is the arena. You want to fight? You tell me. I'll set it up. Then you die, and we all have a good laugh. So what do you say? Come on, we haven't had a good bloodbath in a while.
First things first. What are the arena rules?
It's pretty simple. When the gates open, you fight. Last one standing wins. Of course, when the gates open, the barrels drop in. So just make sure you kill the other guy before you die of radiation poisoning. You don't want to spend too much time with whatever's in those barrels.
Last one standing, you say? Do I get any weapons?
You have what you take in with you. But if that's not enough, there are a couple of things in that locker over there.
Cool. Let me take a look and I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
And here's the locker she's talking about. Well, so much for winning on a technicality. If we could get the taser fist back, maybe, but there's nothing in here that would knock down an experienced gladiator. And now I have a problem. The no-kill alternative for the arena still needs a bit of work. There are multiple options, and I want to cover it all in one episode.
Nothing I love more than watching grinders die.
That's not a healthy attitude, Spook. Anyway, in the meantime, I'm going to go collect a few more ingots. I figured out where the two I missed last week are, and I'll get them first. The ones in the dumpsters that I can't jump to without standing up and breaking stealth are all close to the exit, so once we get the two easy ones I forgot last week, we'll do some quick dumpster diving and make a mad dash for the door back to the mill. Well, easy is a bit of an overstatement. Before we get started, what time is it? 10:30. Not great, but I don't feel like running all the way back to a safe area where I can wait until dark. Anyway, the two ingots I missed last week are at the end of a pipe that comes out of a building on the same level as the Wildman camp and goes all the way across the main area at a height that's guaranteed to kill you if you fall off, no matter how many hit points you have. And even better, they're in a trog nest, or at least a pile of giblets where one of the trogs goes to eat in privacy or something, so it's usually squatting right on top of the ingots. I'm hoping it's one of the ones that got pulled into the big fight with the Wildmen last week and the ingots are unguarded now. If not, I'll probably leave them until we get the stealth suit back. Either way, the ones in the dumpsters will be just enough for another reward from Everett, although this one's going to be a weapon, so it won't help with our little arena problem. We already got the filtration helmet, which will be helpful, and some of the other armor he gives you might be useful to lose in the right circumstances. The Metal Master armor in particular has damage resistance of 36 in full condition for weight of, I think, only 15, which is ridiculously good. But it doesn't have any radiation resistance, so I'll almost certainly be using the Gamma Shield armor in the arena. Luce used to carry the T-51B for emergencies, but it ate into her carry capacity too much, and with the stealth suit, we don't have emergencies nearly as often, so it's not worth it. But damage resistance 36 for weight 15 is worth thinking about. And it does not look like the Trog is there, so either it was one of the ones the wild men killed, or it got full and wandered off. Either way, works for me. If it comes back while we're out here, we're going to have a big problem. But here are the 2 ingots. Nobody behind us. Good. Now we just need the ones from the dumpsters. I'm still not planning to grab any from the supply area until we get the stealth suit back, but there is a reason I want to collect as many as possible before we go into the arena. No spoilers, but I'm not just hunting souvenirs to kill time. Doing this will make our life easier when we get to that point. And by this, I mean getting to the next threshold with Everett. Like I said, even if we hadn't been able to grab the 2 off the pipe, the ones in the dumpsters would still get us to 80. Clearing out the supply area and turning in all 100 would make things even easier, but I'm hoping that won't be necessary. Ooh, more Gamma Shield armor. The one we found in the toxic waste dump was in terrible condition, so we should be able to get its DR up quite a bit with this one. Don't know if I just missed that guy last week or if he got killed since then, but I won't like a gift horse in the mouth. Now, the Trogs are going to detect us when we stand up, but the AI can't path into areas that require jumping, so there's no way the Trogs can follow us into the dumpsters. They can't even get on top of the train cars. Once we pick up the ingots, we can catch our breath and plan our next move. Perfect world, we'll be able to get back to hidden status. Otherwise, we'll try to bait him around to one side, jump out the opposite side, and dodge and weave our way to the next dumpster. Hang out here for a minute and see if they lose interest. Oh, back to caution already. I'm going to drop a save. I'm not save scumming, but if the game crashed right now, I'd be royally pissed. Hello. Where did you come from? So much for my Trogs can't get on top of the train cars theory. I still don't think it could make the jump over here, but I've seen NPCs and creatures sometimes glitch across terrain where they can't technically navigate if the AI really wants them to get there. That's mildly alarming. Maybe caution is good enough. Who else is around? Well, there's one right there. Any chance you'd like to wander off? The truck you can jump into the other dumpsters from is right over there. Anything behind us? Well, not nearby anyway. Now, where are you going? All right, as long as it doesn't turn around, that should be good enough. Get up on the truck and into the other dumpster, and we're golden. Oh, thanks to the comments for the jumping trick, by the way. If you don't read all the comments, someone said you can get a bit of extra distance on a forward jump by jumping straight up and then jumping forward at the exact moment you touch the ground. I can't get the hang of it, but I think it works. Maybe 1 time out of 5, I do seem to jump a bit farther, which suggests I'm just having trouble getting the timing right. It's not a huge difference, like how you can launch yourself halfway across the map with physics glitches, but there are times when even a couple extra feet might make a big difference. And that should be every ingot in the steel yard, minus the ones in the supply area. And we're still only in caution. Nice. If we can get these back to Everett without getting killed at the last minute, that'd be lovely. Hello. Just go around the other way. Oh, or not. You know, if we kited a few more into the mill, it'd make things a little less tense out here. That'd be kind of sketchy in terms of role-playing. Live and let live. That's why I didn't activate the Protectrons last week. And I'm not actually sure if the ones in the steel yard can follow you through that door. The one that was already here in the abandoned area followed us into the mill, but the door to the steel yard might have the "only the player can use me" flag set. Anyway, here we are, safe and sound.
You ain't dead. That's always a good sign.
Got a few more ingots for you.
I'll just take those.
Got anything for me?
All the metal you're bringing in, I suppose it's worth giving you something to really help with those trogs. Here, this thing's mauled trogs and ghouls from here to Monroeville. Give it a whirl.
No pun intended. Thanks. See ya.
Keep bringing in metal. I'll keep getting you gear.
The Mauler is a unique variant of the Auto Axe. It has much better damage, but there's an even more ridiculous variant in the supply area. I'll talk about that when we get there. I'm going to stash this with the rest of the loot and repair the Gamma Shield armor before I forget. I don't remember if I said it out loud, but the desk in Medea's house doesn't respawn, so it's safe for storage. I'll eventually ferry all this stuff to the container on the ambush platform in the train yard where we first arrived in the pit, but we can't get back there right now because the door that leads to the bridge is locked and the game removes fast travel markers for the train yard and the bridge when you first enter the downtown area. And these people seem to be up to something.
Weapons are coming. Relax. It's just, I'm so ready to do this. We all are. Soon. It'll happen soon.
Not soon enough. You got a funny look on your face. You got something you want to say?
Ashur's got a cure.
A cure for what?
The plague. We're talking no more trogs, ever.
What? Really? How the hell do you know that?
You're not the only one with connections.
Fine. So spill it already. Or are you just gonna stand there gloating?
That's it. He's got a cure.
That's it? He's got a cure? You don't know what it is, or where he has it, or what he's planning to do with it?
What? That's all I know. It's good intel.
You're useless. How'd it go with, you know?
It's good.
You were gone a while. We worried.
Nothing to worry about.
We need those parts for the weapons.
Shh. Ashur's got ears everywhere.
I'll chop those ears off soon enough.
If anybody near the bus detects you, they won't say anything suspicious, but eavesdropping doesn't tell you anything you can't get from other sources. Ashur supposedly has a cure for TDC, the slaves are planning an uprising, yada yada yada. I suspect they might have wanted to make the unmarked snitch quest with Brand conditional on clues, like listening in on the rebel slaves, but they either ran out of time or they couldn't draw a good balance between what you need to know for the quest and giving out spoilers for things you'll learn later. So you can tell Brand whatever you want at any time, and the conspirators' secret meeting is just for flavor. Well, that's about as much as I can do right now if I want to show you everything arena-related in one episode. If you bail out when I start talking about technical stuff, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you haven't already, and leave a comment if you have questions or suggestions. First off, let's have a quick listen to how Ashur's speech sounds in the vanilla game.
And most of all, they envy our victories in the struggle for freedom. Because yes, freedom is what we all work towards. To celebrate this struggle, I ask my loyal workers, who among you is prepared to fight for your freedom? Risk your life in the crucible to create a new life of freedom in Uptown. Who will take this rare chance to thrive? Madam, you carry not only the dream that workers can become free, but that we may all someday become truly free from the threats of our world.
So, control of the speech sequence is kind of complicated, but the bug is actually simple. An object script on Ashur has a game mode block that loops through each line in each part of the speech and sets a local variable when he's speaking, so he only says one line at a time. The first part uses speech hold 1, the conclusion uses speech hold 2. There are also two say to done blocks, which take a dialogue topic as a parameter. When an NPC with a say to done block speaks that specific topic, the code in the block will automatically run when they're done speaking. In Ashur's case, the code in the say to done blocks clear the appropriate local variable so the loop in the game mode block can start him saying the next line. There are more local variables that control the flow of the three main parts of the sequence, and when he speaks the last line in the first part of his speech, the result script in that topic sets speech over 1, so the loop in the game mode block knows it's time for Midea to nominate the player to fight in the arena. And that brings us to our first bug. I forgot to mention it earlier, but you may have noticed that in the vanilla game, Midea starts talking before Ashur is done asking for a volunteer. That's because the code that sets speech over 1 is in the begin script rather than the end script. So Midea starts speaking as soon as Ashur starts the final line rather than after he's finished. Back in Ashur's object script, whenever it's time for him to start a line of his speech, the say command is called twice, once on Ashur himself and once on the loudspeaker. Which seems perfectly reasonable, except you can see every line in his speech has the say once flag set. We've seen how that works in some of the PAM dialogue, and that'd be fine if say was only being called once for each line. The code can simply call one topic repeatedly, and as each line gets spoken and removed from the list, the next one will be used. The problem is, say is being called twice for each line. So Ashur says one line, the loudspeaker gets the next, and they keep leapfrogging each other until one of them reaches the end. And unsurprisingly, the second half of his speech has exactly the same issue. Medea's lines work the same way, but it's not a problem because her lines aren't repeated over the loudspeaker, so the say once method works perfectly for her. Fixing it was a bit tricky because of my design goal to implement everything as non-invasively as possible to avoid mod conflicts. I especially didn't want to modify Ashur's object script because I'd be shocked if there aren't at least a few mods that change Ashur or his behavior in some way. So I created a new quest, Ashur Speech Fix, which starts the game enabled and allows repeated conversation topics. The script doesn't have any code, just a variable that we'll use to control the flow of the speech instead of the say once flag. I completely duplicated all the lines in both topics, the first part of his speech and the conclusion, with a higher priority so the game will pick our version instead of the vanilla ones, which means we don't need to fiddle with any of the vanilla scripts on Ashur, Midea, or the loudspeaker at all. Instead of using the say once flag, there's a condition on each line that checks our quest variable. It starts at 0, and the result script for each line bumps it up by 1. So, for example, on the first line of the speech, 0 is less than 2, so the game will pick this line. Result script bumps the variable up to 1, Ashur starts saying the line, and his object script tells the loudspeaker to say the same line. Our variable is now 1, still less than 2, so the game picks this line again, but the result script bumps it up to 2. The speech control in the vanilla script works just fine to pause the loop until he finishes speaking, at which point it calls say again. Our variable is now 2, the condition no longer matches, and the game checks the next line. 2 is less than 4, and the whole process just keeps repeating until we reach the end, with 9 lines spoken and the variable at 18. And I moved the code that lets Midea speak from the begin script to the end script, so she'll wait until Ashur is finished before she starts. And same exact technique for the conclusion of the speech. Picking up where we left off at 18, 4 more lines takes us to 26. There are more than 4 lines here because there are male-female variants for 3 of them, but that doesn't matter because they obviously have an additional condition on the Lone Wanderer's sex, and the ones that don't match will just get skipped over. So, completely non-invasive, and as we saw in the gameplay section of the video, it works pretty well. There's a slight delay between Ashur and the loudspeaker saying each line, but I think that's actually better because they're finally saying the same lines, and it sounds like an echo that you'd naturally get because his amplified voice is being broadcast all over downtown. As far as Medea's new lines, they're very much like dialogue overrides we've seen dozens of times in previous episodes. Find relevant lines to piece together new dialogue, do a mashup in Audacity, and override her explain the plan topics to inject the new I'm a pacifist option. That sets the variable told Midea pacifist, so we know later that the player told her they didn't want to fight, and advances the quest objective just like the 2 vanilla options. Her boo-hoo line didn't even require an override because at that point in the quest, her greetings don't have fixed choices, so the game will present the player with any relevant top-level topics. So I just added a new top level, conditional on having told her before Ashur's speech that you're a pacifist, and gave it high enough priority that it'll show up at the top of the list. Because, if you tell her you don't want to fight and then she throws you under the bus anyway, that's probably going to be at the top of your mind. That bumps up told Midea pacifist to 2, so we know later that not only did we tell her we didn't want to fight, but after the speech we confronted her about nominating us anyway. Why we might want to know how much we told her about being a pacifist is a topic for next time. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.